Zone 6B gardening here, and today I want to take a look at a wild, established, and forming fruit tree guild and walk you through some of the elements and things that I've found as lessons that have been really helpful in my own practices, building my own fruit tree guilds in my garden. I think noticing guilds naturally forming helps me feel more confident and comfortable in facilitating my own guild in my garden. Practicing identifying the layers, the functions, helps me feel like I have the ability to foster that in my planned beds, my cultivated, prepared beds. So we have a black locust tree shoot next to a mulberry tree. This branch is really extending pretty far out, and you can see there is some damage along it. The mulberry tree is all the way back here, and mixed in are more of those black locust shoots. This was pruned all the way back in spring, and this is how much growth this mulberry has. And intertwined with the mulberry is a native grape. It's the Riverbank grape. It produces very small, tiny little grapes that have a lot of seed to fruit ratio, in that there's way more seed than there is fruit around it. And you can turn it into a delicious jam. I kind of just pick all this and give it to my chickens. I think it's a nice supplement for my chickens. But moving back, this is a naturally establishing guild. So we've got the black locust for nitrogen fixing. It also has spikes along the stem, which I think provides a lot of protection to all of the plants in the area from deer browse, which is really helpful. And then we've got the mulberry tree as that upper canopy fruit production layer, and then we've got underneath a wide variety of things. Most notably, we've got native aster in here that come later in fall will just light up with lots of bright pops of blooms. It'll be great bee food. It's also great for harvesting as tea. We even have some wood sorrel, I believe, all the way in there. A really dense canopy here, though, that really needs to be trimmed back. The fence line is probably 8 feet in. So this mulberry tree really took over. It was a small bush, like I said earlier, at the start of the season. We've also got some sedges that popped up by themselves. More aster just all throughout. And again, this is all just choice. Like, these plants just popped up by themselves and I'm letting them. We have some violet in there too, if you can see deep in there. Looking at this guild, I feel a lot of relief because I think there is this pressure to have, at least in my experience, a bunch of different herbaceous plants that serve a lot of functions. And when I look at this guild, I see very few herbaceous layer plants. I see a mixture, of course, but I'm seeing dominant players like aster just filling in that lower herbaceous area. A lot of violet, a lot of sorrel and sedge, but mainly I see aster, which gives a lot of flowers for the bees, invites a lot of pollinators. You can use it as tea. I've heard that you can eat the young shoots. I haven't tried that yet. But it serves a lot of functions. And when I'm thinking about applying that to other guilds that I am personally trying to build myself for my fruit trees, I'm realizing that I really can just start with a few different plants, maybe even just one plant. I can start with maybe just one plant and fill in as I see gaps, as I see needs. But it doesn't have to all go in at once. It doesn't have to all be planned out meticulously at once. And this is a great example. This is a newer establishing wild guild forming here. And it's figuring itself out. We've got some minor players underneath the aster, like the violet, like the wood sorrel. But it's just very reassuring. There's just a predominant aster here as that herbaceous layer, with a few smaller plants like violet and wood sorrel mixed in. But predominantly it's aster as the herbaceous layer. The ground cover is violet, maybe a little bit of sedge in there. For violets, you can also eat violet leaves. I haven't tasted or tried that yet. And then the lower canopy layer is a black locust, also a mulcher. Here is an example of using the black locust as chop and drop. This was a black locust that was growing over here. You can see the stumps. It'll probably come back. It's so vigorous. And you just chop it. This is all chopped black locust. The leaves are pretty much decomposing in place now. And it's just going to add nitrogen back to the soil for the area. They say, at the very least, is providing mulch. And a protector with its spikes from, again, animal browse, mostly deer browse. Then the canopy layer is the mulberry. Also, you can, again, dry the leaves for tea. If I were to harvest mulberry leaves right now for tea, I would really just cut back a lot of the limbs, strip the bottom parts, hang dry them, and that's how I would dry them. I will have to prune back the mulberry anyways, so I will be harvesting this for tea later. You can eat young leaves kind of like spinach, especially if you cook them, boil them into soup. Mulberry leaves, I think, have such a mild flavor. Talk about planting perennial spinaches, and I have a perennial spinach right here, especially a soup spinach. Young leaves like this too. The texture isn't as chewy, so it's really nice in soups, in salads. You could eat this freshly chopped in a salad. And then vining, we've just got a Riverbank grape. And you can eat grape leaves. You can wrap food and roast it. They have stuffed grape leaves for a reason. Obviously, you can also get grapes from grape plants, the vining layer. But I have tried the Riverbank grapes, and I have tried the leaves. It's okay. Let's see if I can find some more. Here we go. Which really is not doing too well. It's got some kind of bug or something going on with it. Again, this is not a managed guild by me. This is what volunteered itself or kind of grew because I'm not giving this part of the garden attention right now. But I am taking notes because I feel a pressure to have a lot of different plants, a lot of different herbaceous plants underneath one single tree, and that doesn't always happen. There are pretty much just asters here. Now, if something came through that wiped out all the asters, maybe I'd be in more trouble. But this does exist. This happened by itself. So, food for thought, looking at my mulberry tree guild that formed by itself. Have you noticed any guilds formed by themselves in the wild? I'd love to hear in the comment section what you've observed. And This is Zone 6B Gardening, signing off.